Did Israel and Iran bomb each other? Close. Israel bombed Iran. Let me take a beat. Let me take a step back. Because this is pretty crazy. It's been a while since, like, an actual just straight up ground war happened. Of course, it tends to be countries like Israel and Russia and whatever, like, very militaristic countries that go on projects of war making such as this. Israel has very professed expansionary aims. They are trying to basically reframe a lot of this around Iran in a certain way. Like, they've been Israel and actually the United States as well have been really talking about this as though it's like, oh, this is all justified because it's part of this project of taking out a broader geopolitical enemy of Iran. Israel hasn't been as coherent about trying to push that narrative because their main interest is just killing as many Arabs as possible. But this is sort of Israel getting impatient because the election is coming up very soon. This is actually relevant to Israel's actions here, because what they want, they want this to happen in time for the election. They want the war to start in time for the election so that Donald Trump has a greater chance of winning. Because if the current administration, the Biden administration, gets pulled into a war of Israel's making, then that looks really bad for them. And if Israel were to start this war proper, which I believe they have, then the Biden administration will full-throatedly support them. We've seen this pattern play out over and over again, where whatever Israel does, it seems like the red line continually moves and shifts. You know, the administration shifts the goalposts to accommodate whatever Israel is doing, to play defense for them, to justify their actions, even when such actions are leveling apartment blocks, bombing hospitals, bombing schools, shooting toddlers in the face, etc., etc. You know, we've heard the reports from doctors on the news networks that have come back from these tours. Name a bad thing that a country could be doing in wartime or in a military campaign against a largely civilian population, and Israel is doing it. You know? This is part of the Israeli, like, LEBENSRAUM project. Yeah, Democrats trying not to lose challenge. Impossible. It's genuinely, like, wild how much the Democrats, like, painted themselves into a corner with this one, and how much, like, shit, because of that, in part because of the way that the Democrats have been so, like, pussyfooting around the issue of Israel, that, like, we're now going to get a full-on regional war and potentially a like completely fascist Republican administration, because the Democrats weren't willing to put their foot down on Israel. Like, it didn't used to be like this, believe it or not. You know, the average liberal nowadays in America, like, has some Zionist sympathies. I remember not too long ago when I first got into politics, 2016, 17, the average liberal was intensely critical of Israel, or at the very least of Netanyahu, from their, limited understanding of how a materialist politics works. Because Trump was very permissive of Israel and was, like, totally fine with them encroaching on Palestinian territory, on breaking international law, making Jerusalem the site of the embassy, etc., etc., It was the object of a lot of liberal ire. They were able to frame it through the malfeasance of Trump. But because a lot of liberals are actually very campist, because now it's the Democrats doing the Zionist project, now it's okay for a lot of them. And like I said, this is a decidedly new shift. Neither Republican presidents nor Democratic presidents and administrations prior to Joe Biden and Donald Trump liked Israel. I remember even Bush Jr. was very, like, lukewarm on the concept of supporting Israel. That, like, as recently as the early to mid 2000s, and definitely in the Obama administration too, any aid that the United States gave to Israel was being conditioned. There were conditions on the the aid that we gave them, such that, like, hey, if you fucking do something that violates this, or this clause, you don't get aid anymore. Like, we're not giving it to you, you know? And like, God, when you're to the right of Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, you know some shit has gone so very wrong. Like, yeah, I feel like I'm at the risk of rambling a little bit. But it didn't need to be this way. I cannot stress enough that it didn't need to be like this. This did not need to happen. There were no circumstances that dictated this had to happen 100%. This only happened because the United States let it happen. Because we made the choice that we would rather have let Israel be a rogue state and behave basically like Nazi Germany than, I don't know, lift one finger to rein them in. There's an ad in my state for Republicans where it said, my son got poisoned by his friend, that's why you should be against the border. I mean, obviously, we can't expect Republicans to be intelligent or self-aware. I feel like that's, that's kind of a unreasonable expectation to set, given that the average intelligence of fascists is comparable to that of a small rodent. Supporting the border, like, straightforwardly racist. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know. I don't want to get too distracted from the first topic at hand, which is the war in the Middle East. More and more, I actually catch myself adopting sort of historical fatalist points of view, because this is like it's like a product of the limited range of options available to us. Granted, there were opportunities for liberals to, well, not just be like slightly less fascist, for them to actually meaningfully be better on some of these issues, to have better positions and objectives and behaviors. But, like, they just didn't, you know? It's immensely frustrating is what it is. And I feel like, again, I need to collect my thoughts on it a little bit. Now, I don't really know what's going to come of this war fully, because that's kind of how wars are. You know, the fog of war is a hell of a thing. I don't know what, like, I don't think Israel really has a coherent stopping point, right? They have broader ambitions. Yeah, like, it's safe to assume nothing good obviously is going to come out of this war. And all that, but you know, if we're aiming for something a little bit more specific, Israel is obviously, like, they have territorial ambitions and very genocidal ambitions, which they have been acting on already. They are, I think I've seen some reports that Israel is already settling Gaza again. They're resettling Gaza now that they've forced out most of the Palestinians. At least from, I think from the north. But they're not going to stop there. In fact, similar to a country like Germany in the early 20th, mid-20th century, like, you know, Nazi Germany, I think it's safe to assume that nothing will ever be good enough for the state of Israel. You know, that's kind of how fascism works as an ideology, is that there's this fire burning and they're always going to need more fuel for that fire. This war effort is already being fueled by, like, basically whatever's left in the war chest. The Israeli economy is not doing great by any stretch. You know, they've experienced some GDP shrinkage over the past year and change. And eventually, like, if there's no more territory to expand to, then the whole ideology, or rather the political system that has been propped up using the ideology of Zionism is going to collapse in on itself. You know, the war has to keep going in order for Israel to be somewhat stable. He's trying to keep us forever so he doesn't get kicked out. Yeah. Netanyahu wants the war to continue indefinitely so he doesn't get kicked out of power. I mean, he could always come to the United States, because I don't think the government of the United States... Like, the United States might be the one government in the world that would take Netanyahu and, like, shield him from prosecution. If he ever has to relinquish power in Israel, I see that being what he does and where he goes. You know, probably going to come back to... Well, he might not go to Philly because he might get lynched. I don't know. He might just be in some safe houses around the country or whatever. It's, you know, fascism, like I said, it burns itself out. This is not sustainable. This war, not sustainable. Israel is one rogue state, and sure, you know, you can have the backing of the United States, but, like, even the U.S. is even running low on weapons to supply Israel and to a lesser extent Ukraine. Israel has been so insane with their weapons usage, using like extremely expensive munitions to like fucking bomb civilian areas, that you know, there's only so long that the United States can actually supply Israel with stuff. Eventually this will stop. It's just a question of how many thousands or potentially even millions, depending on how far Israel is allowed to go with this. How many people die before fascism is able to burn itself out? Like, you want to create conditions where fascism burns out as soon as possible, hurting as few people as possible. But the United States keeps adding fuel to the fire in the Middle East so that fascism takes more people with it, you know? Now, to address the title of the stream, I'm engaging a little bit of the you know, funny haha live streamer bit. I don't know if this is going to actually be World War III. To preempt something that I know there are some people in my chat that usually, you know, they get very concerned about this. This is not going to mean nuclear war, right? The one thing I could actually see the United States doing is like saying, no, you don't get to use nukes. I could even be wrong there, but like, this isn't going to result in like global nuclear annihilation. Because there are too many incentives in place against that happening. Even if a nuke gets launched, I still think it's more likely that, you know, there's so much pressure with the intelligence agencies and from the international community and stuff that, like, Netanyahu would be gone the moment he decided to press the button for real. And he would be replaced by, realistically speaking, somebody who's basically the same but just wouldn't press the button to launch the nukes. Clicked on the video without reading the title because I recognized it was you. Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah, imagine the news cycle after a nuke. Yeah, can't wait to see American news outlets try to justify Israel launching a nuke at Iran, a country that, for all we know, actually doesn't have any nuclear missiles. That might be the one thing that Israel could do to alienate the support of the United States, is nuke a non-nuclear country. Maybe. And even then, I think the only reason that the news outlets might not go for it entirely is because they wouldn't be able to come up with a good enough headline to, like, sell people on it. You know? Like, they probably want to still defend Israel, but I don't know if they would, like, be able to. If that makes sense. I'm gonna turn this... There we go. Okay. I just turned my mic down a tiny bit. Oh wow, that actually set... That's actually a set speed thing. I didn't know that. Yeah, apart from any of that happening, you know, the nuclear escalation, I don't see happening. But it is possible that this, you know, this is definitely going to be like, you know, a regional war. The conflict was already functionally a regional conflict in a lot of ways. Now that Iran has been, like, actually implicated, there's two geopolitical camps basically that are going to be at odds. The US being one of them and Iran being the other one. And I honestly, I don't think there's really a way that, you know, this is speculation, but I think Israel in a war against Iran, it would be a stalemate. Like, Iran is too defensible to any sort of ground invasion. The terrain is too mountainous, and you know, any ground invasion, especially by Israeli forces, one of the like simultaneously most incompetent and well-equipped militaries in the world, there's no shot that they're getting through all that. But then, you know, Iran can't do much without inciting the ire of the United States. It's, you know, it's just gonna be like an impasse, kind of. And I don't know how it's gonna end, realistically speaking. It fucking sucks. It really sucks. And it especially sucks that I feel like there's not even all that much I can say about it because war is so unclear of a topic. Like, you know, apart from what I've said in the past, that like this only happened because the United States let it happen, and this is all Israel and America's fault because we're holding all the cards in this situation, and we keep letting Israel act like a fucking rogue state, just murking Palestinians. And the news cycle just justifies it by being like, oh, there was a Hamas in the skull of that small child. Yo, Real Cryoraptor, what's up? Welcome back to chat. OBS is being funky. Wait, what happened? Israel launched, just last night, Israel launched an airstrike against Iran and hit major cities. Did Israel and Iran bomb each other? Close. Israel bombed Iran. In fact, they hit the capital. And predictably, the US and all sorts of other American media is playing defense for Israel. Saying like, well, they only hit military targets, you know. Oh shit. Yeah, it is kind of an oh shit moment. Although the truth of the matter is, right? I was talking about it earlier. I was trying to find some analysis that I could give, but like, what the fuck do I even say about it, right? We knew that Israel was super expansionist. We knew that they were, you know, incredibly fascistic, and we knew that they like are engaging in a Zionist, you know, genocidal Zionist project. We knew that Israel wanted to do this, and we knew that the United States wasn't going to stop them. And now this is just the inevitable Chekhov's gun, I guess. Like, all the setup was there. Yeah, they're like, this baby is a military target. There was a Hamas inside of that small child, so we had to obliterate them from orbit. And it's just like, well, shit, I guess it's just regional war in the Middle East now. Yeah, we knew that they wanted to provoke a regional war, and now they've decided that it's time to provoke the regional war. And like, that's what's up. You know, it's very hard for me to inject anything new because Israel was like, hey, we want to do A, B, and C, and then A, B, and C happened because Israel just kind of gets to act like a rogue state, and the United States does nothing. The United States being the only country that has the power and ability to make Israel do something, has explicitly decided that we're not going to make Israel do anything. We're just going to let them be a rogue state and continue to provide weapons to them. And it has depleted our own weapons cache. You know, the United States is actually now experiencing problems where our production is not able to keep up with Israel's war machine. You know, like, Israel's demands for munitions is outstripping America's ability to produce those munitions and supply them to Israel, because they keep using like fucking millions upon millions of dollars of bombs to do what are basically like artillery strikes. They want precise targeting on all the babies they're killing, and that costs a lot of money. And the US is like, whoa, hold on now, you're depleting our weapons caches. It's so fucked. It's truly so fucked. Like, there's not even a pretense of giving a shit about human rights or like combating terrorism, which was the initial veneer. People might not remember. The initial veneer was that, like, oh, Hamas is a terrorist group that carried out a deadly attack and that so we're trying to deal with them, and civilian casualties are something to be avoided at all costs. Now Israel's just kind of bathing in the blood of civilians and like being like fucking all Palestinians are degenerates and they need to be wiped from the earth and whatever. Like, again, what do I even say? Like, they're just evil. They're just Hitler. They're just Jewish Hitler. Oh, and I'm dead. Yeah, it is kind of weird, Gotron. Like, it's the cartoon villain shit happening in real life. Like, this is villainy, the depth of which you would only see in, like, Saturday morning cartoons. Because the producers and the artists and whatever were like, oh, okay, nobody could be this evil. So this will be easy for kids to, like, learn the principles of, like, what makes somebody evil. And then have, then explain later, okay, the real world isn't really like that. But no, in this case, the real world is just like the cartoons, and Israel is just cartoonishly evil. It's obvious what's going on, they just don't care. So, the West will just be like, they have the right to defend themselves. Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening right now. I read earlier, there was a statement from Joe Biden, where he said, like, yeah, well, Israel only struck military targets in Iran, so it's fine. But we hope it's the end of it, but it's actually fine. Which, of course, Israel's just going to be like, oh, okay, so the U.S. is just going to still let us do whatever we want to Iran. So, like you said, the whole Israel has a right to defend itself bit. Love that now that, like, the Democrats have, through, like, repeatedly invoking that line, even when the crimes being committed by Israel are straightforwardly genocidal. Yeah, it's just, okay, you can have Sudetenland kind of shit. Like, they've rode out the pro-Israel rhetoric to the point that now they're just defending genocide as self-defense. Like, Israel can do genocide as long as it's in self-defense. Like, fucking what? Excuse me? Imagine the people in the future, they're going to have to write this into the history books. It's being written into the history books now, as far as we can tell. And hopefully, I think the one silver lining from this is that history will remember America and Israel as the monsters that they are. History will look back on the actions of the United States and Israel with the same disgust, or even possibly greater disgust. Well, not greater disgust, but the same disgust, as we look upon the actions of nations like the Ottoman Empire and Nazi Germany now. Because it was one of those genocides that was so blatantly obvious that was building up, and that we knew all the warning signs. And not only did we let it happen, we expressly permitted it to happen. Like, we did the genocide, in part, I don't even know, like, the United States is so far gone down the rabbit hole of supporting Israel and its colonial project. I don't even know what to hope for in this war. Like, usually there's some kind of in concept there should be something that, like, okay, if things go sufficiently poorly for Israel, it could be an embarrassment to both Israel and the United States, and the United States might be motivated to, like, tug on Israel's leash. But I don't even know what those conditions would be, because the United States has shown that whatever Israel's incompetence, that will, support them anyways. Like, Israel is getting their ass handed to them by Hezbollah, despite the fact that they're making some territorial gains and, like, obliterating Lebanon right now. They're outmatched because, the only thing driving their military is ideological fervor, and that's not a good that's not a good way to have a disciplined military. In fact, it's kind of antithetical to military discipline, because that requires a degree of understanding of real world circumstances that are not usually compatible with rabid fascist ideology. Yeah, it's like a death pact, murder suicide pact as relationship. Yeah, the fucking appeasement is real. Holy shit. Like, Okay, you can invade Gaza, it's fine. Okay, you can invade the West Bank, it's fine. Okay, you can bomb Lebanon, it's fine. Okay, you can bomb Iran, it's fine. Okay, you can start settling Lebanon, it's fine. You can invade Syria, you can take over the Levant. Yeah, like how long until we're just saying like, okay, Israel can have the Lebensraum, we must support their final solution because it's self-defense or whatever the fuck. Yeah. Shit like this is exhausting because it feels so, in a way it feels futile. Like I could deliver the most perfectly constructed argument from a historical perspective with you know, examples from other genocides that were motivated by similar ideologies to say like, these are the mistakes we're making right now, we just need to fucking stop the arms sales, you know, put out an embargo, and then like this could end. I could deliver the perfect scenario where everything goes right, and I could explain exactly what the United States is doing wrong. It doesn't matter because, you know, the U.S. is committed to bullshit. Yeah, we'll just continue doing it. Kind of makes me feel helpless. Don't let that get to you, right? Because ultimately it goes both ways. There's nothing we can do about this, right? So it's also not our responsibility to feel like it's on us to totally end this, right? There's always something that you can do. So to that end, you shouldn't feel helpless. It's just frustrating because like, man, we really live in a world where just fucking evil people are in charge. Great. Love that. You know? There's always something you can do. I mentioned in some of my other segments that, like, if there are any protests happening, that's always good. You know, posting about, like, unironically, posting is praxis. It is a very small microcosm of praxis, but, like, any record keeping or, like, posting or indication that, like, wow, everybody knew that this genocide was bad and the government still went through with it, any way that you can contribute to that is good, you know? But, you know, yeah, it's, you know, for a lot of people, it's a difficult thing to wrap your head around because at the end of the day, we don't live in a democracy. We live in a bourgeois democracy, which means that if you are not part of the capital class, you don't really have the power to do anything. But yeah, future me, if I make this a segment, cut it there. You know, the Holocaust of the modern day, you know, continues, and the United States is on the wrong side of history this time. You know, great prospect. Thanks for watching, and support the channel if you would be so kind.